In as much as I'm the person who makes the pictures, I'm always the subject of my own work. It's me expressing something about a landscape or a person or an issue, so I'm always in it. My name's Ingrid Pollard, I'm an artist and photographer. I was born in Guyana, in the Caribbean. I was brought over when I was about 4 with my sister to join my parents, who were already over here. I stayed in London until I moved to Northumberland when I was 65. My dad always had a little 35mm camera. He must have given me a lesson. And I got my own second-hand, and then I got a brand new one. And I was around lots of people who were taking photos, just around the house, not art world. They were just, when we were on holiday, took pictures. But I took pictures all the time, which was a bit different. And then this job came up at this feminist screen printing photography project. And I thought, oh, I could do that. I got that job. And in the art world then, they were working and socialising and activism. They were all mixed in together. When they were courting, my parents, my dad, he made her a photo album. So it was be a fun thing. Once I left home, I'd go home to my mother and she'd bring out the photo album and she'd tell me who they all were. So looking at photographs was always an important part. I started working with those because I was very familiar with them, and I was doing a piece of work, Oceans Apart, about being separated, being born in the Caribbean and being brought up here, and that particular history of crossing the Atlantic for the last 500 years, loads of both ways, because my grandmother came from Europe to Guyana and then my parents came from Guyana to England, so there's a lot of crisscrossing. So it's kind of good that I'm going through these test images from Pastoral Interlude as to think about race and landscape. This is one of the first pieces of work I did based on my holidays to the Lake District with groups of friends. We might be in a holiday for a whole week and then I wouldn't see another black person, what that meant, and responses to me. There's a way of articulating that, but I feel that the work is much more about Britishness than race. If you're talking about Britishness, which is statehood, it includes white people, black people, brown people. So it is about race, but it's not only about black people, it's about them. Always has to be in relation to someone else and how those ideas are constructed. So we look at this landscape particularly. We've got a dry stone wall, we've got telegraph wire, we've got boundaries in the fields. Certain things are allowed to be grown here, but not here. So all this is totally manufactured, made. It's a working industrial site. Negative ideas about black people as just constructed, just as historical as this landscape, and ideas about women of African descent. Things are changing, but some of those ideas are still there. They're in the kind of bedrock of psyche, ideas about Englishness, realised through landscape. Because I use friends and real people that I know rather than models, I always have a relationship to them. So it always feels like a collaboration, or they're standing in for me, they are me. With photography, there's a range of mediums I can use to tell that story or convey a particular set of ideas that I'm interested in. A lot of text, either pre-existing text in books or print media. There's poetry that's in there. There's stuff that I might write myself. Existing things that I've cut out of magazines and books, redacted some of them. So all of those convey a story, and if you join them with this bit and that bit, there's something else going on that the audience can start to work out. I was invited to look at archives by Autograph Association of Black Photographers. It's an archive from 1890s in Jamaica. So I spent a lot of time tinting those. But the tinting also felt like it gave agency to the people who were central to the image. So there's a lot of things going on in tinting. And I was interested in who's important, which gaze, and I didn't want the audience looking at those to forget that I am also a photographer and I'm manipulating everything. When I present the pictures and the audience see them, they have the view of the imperialist photographer still. You know, I place the audience there. You're not just looking passively at a photograph. You're actively engaged in viewing. I think over the years, photography's connection to sculpture is the biggest gap. So I thought I should get over myself and actually engage with it. Bow Down and Very Low, the kinetic piece, there's a young girl from a charming film made in 1947. So I was interested in her bowing. that gesture in terms of the power dynamic, the difference between a curtsy and a bowing and how the body drops or it bends forward. Even though there's very harsh things, there's saws, there's baseball bats, there's something very sweet about all the elements, and then the movement is very particular. So it's about power abuse, I think, and the body in relation to that, and the repetition. The hidden and the unhidden are the basis of most of the work I do. So that's the bedrock of it all. How I place myself in any environment or any location, and how other people have done that throughout history. It's also about encounter, when you go somewhere new, how you express being part of that community or not wanting to belong or having a particular understanding about belonging. It's all a story or clues. I know people are coming with their life's experience and they're meeting the work and they'll think whatever they want to think. I assume we share some things in common, and that's the beginning of the conversation.